This is one of the videos that I had planned to put out during the recess that just ended, but guess what? We started the Zungu series and we just kept going on and on. There was just so much to discover in Zungu series, and surprise, surprise, Baloyi right now is talking about Zungu and Gininda is giving us clarifications about Zungu, and then all of a sudden it's not Zungu who heard what happened, it's Zungu's father, Absalom. I mean, it's shocking, but you know what? Asiko lapo. And so I decided to do this video finally and complete it because Gininda, Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda is a witness on the stand, but I think he's a little bit confused with his roles because once you're in court, you are no longer a brigadier in there, even if you are a president. Ask Jacob Zuma, ask former President Jacob Zuma, when you're in a court of law, you are governed by the rules within the court. And I thought, you know what more than a better idea to do this video so that we are all up to speed on South African court systems, how it works, what's the protocol, what's the dress code, and. So make sure you drop a like if you appreciate this video. Let me know some of the things you've learned in the court system that I might have skipped. But let's get into it because, we saw Brigadier suddenly starting to tell us about his inferences as a witness. It was quite confusing because we were not sure. Is he a witness? Is he speaking on behalf of the court? Or is he now the prosecutor? Because you do know he is studying for his LLB. Apparently he is in his final year at UNISA. It is unverified at this point, so we'll say allegedly, okay? But yeah, so his behavior in court was quite confusing because I imagine in his day-to-day life, in his department of 3, he does as he pleases. So let's get into this video titled Understanding Court Processes and Procedures in South Africa. First and foremost, South Africa's court system is the backbone of its justice system. But what exactly happens inside the courtroom? Today, we'll take you through the key court processes and explain the significance behind the traditional attire worn by legal professionals, including why judges and advocates wear those distinct robes. Please note, Gininda does not have a robe. He is just a witness. So he's an ordinary citizen. And yourself, if you are called in as a witness, you are there in your civilian capacity. You might be there as an expert, but your job is to assist the court, by presenting facts, not theories, facts, to assist the court in its judgment. South Africa's court system is structured into different levels. At the lower level, we have the Magistrate's Court, which handles most civil and criminal cases. Then there are high courts. Some of the magistrate cases that we have heard of is, of course, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana when they were doing her bail hearing, Thabo Bester when he's putting his several applications. Who else can I think of in the Magistrate's Court? Of course, the 5 accused in the Senzumewa trial, they first appeared in the Magistrate Court. That's where their charges were made or read to them. So I hope that helps you see the difference. And then from there, the matter was transferred to the High Court because of the seriousness of the charges against them. And I believe they call them Schedule 6. So yeah. So the South Africa's court system is structured into different levels. At the lowest level, we have the magistrate courts, which handle most civil and criminal cases. Then there are the high courts, which deal with more serious matters. And finally, the constitutional court, which is the highest court in the land, which handles constitutional issues. The Constitutional Court is based in Johannesburg and is unique not only because of its cases, but also for its symbolic design, which reflects the values of South Africa's constitution, including justice and equality. Every court proceedings begins with formalities. The judge or the magistrate enters the courtroom and everyone stands as a sign of respect. Then the court is in session. In a criminal case, the prosecution presents its case first, laying out evidence and calling witnesses. We've seen this in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, where Judge Rata walks in, he addresses Ubaloyi. He doesn't address the defense, he addresses Ubaloyi because Ubaloyi is the state and he is the dominus litis, which means it's his show. And then Ubaloyi will respond and let the judge know the order of the day, who's coming, what they're doing, any issues that are happening. So, and then if there's ever anything that the defense needs to say, then Baloyi introduces the topic and then he gives the mic over to the defense team. Let me know if you've noticed that as well. So then the defense then cross-examines those witnesses and presents their own evidence. In civil cases, the process is similar, but the dispute is usually between two private parties rather than the state and an individual. Witnesses play a crucial role in South African trials. They must swear an oath to tell the truth, and their testimony can make or break a case. Gininda was not sworn in this time around. My assumption is the judge is carrying forward if he was sworn in during a trial within a trial, which occurred last year around about November. I think time has lapsed, and because of that, I think Gininda thinks this is an informal meeting and he can run the show as he pleases, which is where we see him giving us inferences and long winding explanations and hearsay evidence, which is absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? I digress. So the witnesses play a crucial role in South African trials. They must swear an oath to tell the truth, and their testimony can make or break a case. And I believe this is what Gininda is trying to do, to tie up the loose ends from all the other state witnesses and be the witness of note, because he does suffer from main character syndrome, and hence why him and the state agreed that he comes at the very, very end. Do you see what I mean? Main character syndrome. He wants to be the closing act, okay, before the defense witnesses start to come up. So a judge presides over a case, and judges in South Africa are responsible for overseeing court proceedings, ensuring that the trial follows legal guidelines, and ultimately making a decision on the case, whether it's a criminal or a civil matter. They are expected, let me say this one more time, they are expected to be impartial and fair. I know. This is quite debatable in the current courtroom that we've been digressing, or should I say digesting, which is the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Let me know in the comment section down below, is Judge Rata impartial and fair from your observations, of course? And this is strictly opinion-based and non-factual. But I also want to add that advocates are also known as barristers in some countries. They represent clients in court. They are trained to argue the law, examine witnesses, and persuade the judge or the jury. In criminal cases, advocates either represent the state as prosecutors, so in this case, Ubaloyi, and Dr. Sibanda, as you know, he is now a new PhD holder, or the accused as defense attorneys. But this is where I believe Gininda got a little bit confused, where the wires got twisted, because he is merely studying an LLB, so he is merely an investigating officer, is now a witness of the state as an investigating officer. And I think this is where the wires got crisscrossed, because of his studies, that he suddenly thinks he is already admitted as an advocate, which I have to say is he is not, because he hasn't even sat for the bar. But guess what? Why do judges and advocates wear robes? One of the most iconic aspects of the courtroom is the formal attire worn by judges and advocates, which is their robes. But why do they wear them, and what do the colors mean? The tradition of wearing robes in court dates back centuries to the time of English colonial rule, when South Africa adopted British legal customs. The robes symbolize the authority of the law and are meant to remind everybody in the courtroom, lawyers, judges, and the public alike that the proceedings are serious and impartial. Do you want me to read that again? Those robes represent that the proceedings are serious and impartial. So the significance of the robes and their colors. A close-up of different colored robes worn by judges and advocates. The colors of the robes also carry significant meaning. Judges in South Africa wear different colored robes depending on the court in which they serve. In the High Court, judges typically wear red robes with white collars. This tradition reflects a blend of British judicial influence and the solemnness of their role in serious cases such as murder trials and high-stakes civil matters. Now, in the Constitutional Court, judges wear green robes, symbolizing their unique role in protecting the Constitution and upholding the rights of all South Africans. The color green is often associated with growth, fairness, and justice, aligning with the court's commitment to constitutional values. And then we have, of course, the advocates who wear the black robe. Advocates, on the other hand, typically wear a black robe. Black is seen as a neutral color, symbolizing the advocate's duty to serve justice impartially. It also reflects the solemn and serious nature of their work in defending or prosecuting cases. Now, the importance of courtroom etiquette. This one is a special edition just for Gininda. Lawyers bow to the judge as they enter and leave the courtroom. Again, this is courtroom etiquette. We have seen a few times where Umshalolo and Ungomezulu might skip that little, might not stand up or remain seated. But you know what? Asikolapo, we are not there, okay? Courtroom etiquette is deeply rooted in respect for the law and its processes. Advocates bow when entering and leaving the courtroom as a sign of respect to the judge and the institution of justice. Similarly, everyone in the courtroom must rise when the judge enters or leaves, acknowledging the authority of the court. I wonder if Gininda stands up or he bows to the judge, but I don't know if you've seen this as well. Anytime somebody is late, when they walk in, if you watch the gallery, when they walk in and they're at the door, they bow to the judge and then they proceed to enter the room, or if they're leaving, they walk out. Then just about when they're about to get to the door, again, they turn around and they bow to the judge. Have you guys noticed that? Let me know if you've seen it in the comment section down below. You have seen sometimes when Griselda and other news reporters arrive late, they will quickly rush in, but then they will pause and bow to the judge. These are kind of like the unwritten court etiquettes. If you ever find yourself in the courthouse, make sure that you watch Mzansi Unfiltered's video to familiarize yourself with courtroom etiquette. So it's important to remember that courtroom etiquette isn't just about tradition. It's about ensuring fairness, decorum, and professionalism in pursuit of justice. So, once the evidence has been presented, which is where we are right now, and both sides have made their arguments, the judge will make a ruling. So you always hear the judge saying, we'll reserve that for arguments. So right now we're at the beginning, guys. We're at the evidence portion. Then they're going to do their arguments, and then the judge will make a ruling. So in criminal cases, if the accused is found guilty, sentencing will follow. In civil cases, the judge will determine the compensation or outcome based on the facts presented. Let's cite Jackie Pamotse versus the Kumalos. In that was a magistrate. That was in the lower court. So in the magistrate court, Jackie Pamotse was found guilty of defamation of and she's currently serving house arrest. I'm not sure how many years, but that kind of gives you an idea of what the sentencing is like in a lower court. So, sentencing in South African courts can range from fines and community service to long-term imprisonment, depending on the crime and, of course, the circumstances. The judge considers several factors, including the severity of the crime, the impact on the victims, and any mitigating circumstances. So, South Africa's court processes and procedures are essential to upholding justice and maintaining the rule of law. From the formalities of the courtroom attire to the significance of the colors worn by the judges and advocates, each element of the courtroom serves as a reminder of the solemn duty of ensuring fairness and truth. Next time you hear about a case in the South African courts, you'll know what goes on behind those doors. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to drop a like, share, and subscribe for more insights into South African law and justice as we continue to cover the Senzo Meyiwa trial and other guest appearing trials, depending on what piques the public's interest at the time. So yeah, that is it from me today. Let me know in the comment section down below if you found this video helpful, if you've learned something new today, and of course, if I've missed out on anything, I want to hear from you. So let's engage down in the comment section down below. You know the house rules. I'm Zanzi Unfiltered, checking out. Catch you on my next upload.
My lord, I'm indebted. Yeah. As the court pleases, my lord, I'm indebted. Yeah.
If the grooves don't fit, quit the 5 accused. Nisi has done a fantastic job proving there was no match.